Kristen asked me if I wanted to go on staff, I said, no, girl. Nah, that's not for me.
You said, what I look like going on staff?
No, literally, I was like, I'm going to China. That was my plan, to teach kids with special needs in China for 2 years. And then I was going to come back to grad school, and then become a speech pathologist. That was my plan.
That was your plan.
It was. Looking back, I'm like, happy I didn't go to China because Corona. I was like, God, I guess God saw that.
God had a plan for your life.
Because I still would have been there. Still. My mom was like, yeah, you would have been, I don't even want to think about it. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not. So it's okay. Don't worry. So, yeah, I was planning to go to China. And then I applied to 3 other jobs, too. So in total, 4 jobs. I got them all.
Flex.
I got them all just because they were all in like fields that I like knew conceptually I'm like pretty solid at, like kids with special needs, like it all dealt with fields in that way, or teaching. I even applied to Teach for America early as a junior and I got in. So I guess so technically 5. So it was like really crazy how it all worked out. So Teach for America fell through first. They placed me in Hawaii, which I was like, yes, Hawaii, let's go, as a special needs teacher on the island of Kauai. And I was like, yes, yeah. And they were like, let us know within the week if you can, like, if you want to accept the position or not. So Kauai is small. You need a car to get everywhere. Back then, I didn't have a car, which that would have been really expensive. And then just like in general, they're like, you're not going to make enough money to save up for grad school. Like you get paid very little. And then my idea was that they would help pay for my grad school. Since it's speech pathology, it's kind of in the educational realm, but not really. Since I wasn't pursuing to be a teacher, they were like, we're not going to pay for that. So that fell through, and I had to tell them no, and I was like, there goes my chance to go to Hawaii. I was like, why doesn't anyone want me to go to Hawaii?
You're going to get there one of these days.
Go.
You're going to get there one of these days.
Oh my goodness. Then I, ABA therapist, I applied to be one in DC. I made the first round. So the second round was like a interview. And I thought it was interesting at first when the interview was virtual, because I thought I could like go to the place and like have it in person, right? This is before Corona. And it was virtual. She was like, oh, I'm in Boston. I was like, oh, maybe she lives in Boston. She's like, the position's for Boston. And I'm like, in the interview, I was like, oh, wait, but online it said for DC. She's like, yes, but she's like, but it also says in the fine print, it's like wherever the need is, we're going to send you there.
They was trying to send you all the way out to Boston?
I was like...
What I look like going to Boston?
I was like, huh? Like, I was just so confused. I was like, wait, no. Why are you sending me there?
Bamboozle, swindle, all kinds of shysted.
There goes my ABA therapy. So then for China, this one hurt me the most, I think. So I made it past all the rounds and interviews. They're like, okay, all you need is to get your like visa or whatever you need to in order to like live in China and stuff like that. So I was ready to go to the embassy. Like I was prepared.
You was ready for it.
I was so ready. And then talking with my aunt, she did more research on the program, and she was just like, yeah, I'm not really sure you want to like pursue this program. And I was like, why? And things just started falling through. Like they couldn't, like, nothing was adding up with different things, like money, wherever the case may be, like living. They didn't send me to where I requested. So I requested to be in Shanghai, and they sent me somewhere else closer to Beijing and everything. I was like, I didn't request Beijing, I requested Shanghai. And I just have friends from China, so they were like, you need to go to Shanghai. I was like, bet, okay, cool. So that was a little alarming. And then just like more and more details about the program, I was just like, what's going on? Like, people had answers before. I just need confirmation. So I prayed about it, did not have peace at all. Like, I was anxious thinking about it, and I was like, this is crazy. I didn't have peace about it beforehand. I had so much peace. So I told them no, I wasn't gonna go. And then my last job offer, my family wanted me to go back to Tennessee and work, and that was going to be, I forgot the technical term for it, but I would be helping people with special needs and like jobs in different areas of that nature, which sounds great to me. So I got that, but didn't have peace about taking it, and I didn't have peace about moving home. So going back to Tennessee, so I was like, what is going on with me? So I told them no, and the only option that was left was campus outreach.
Campus outreach.
And I was like, what? okay. So I agreed to like, Paul had asked to like interview me or like to talk with me about it, and I was like, okay. So I like talked with him, and afterwards, I remember walking. It was snowing, like it was something out of a movie. I was walking to Starbucks and it was snowing, and I was like, okay, Lord, I do love the snow. So I like, walked into Starbucks. He bought me a tea, and we were just talking. And he was like very upfront with me. He was like, hey, you be going to Howard. And I'm like, do you usually tell people where they're going? He's like, no. But he was like, but just talking to some people who know you well, you like to know what's happening. And I was like, Kristen, I'm the only person who would know that I like to know what the plan is before I like jump into something, right? So I remember I just was I asked him many questions during that time that were very blunt and very to the point.
Now, what was the bluntest question you asked him?
Are you sending me there because I'm black?
Woo!
Because
and what did he say?
He said, honestly, Kayla, a part of that is like, yeah.
He said, absolutely. What you think? What do you think this is?
But he explained it. He went into detail about it. He was like, Howard has not had a full-time staff woman ever. All the other universities have for multiple years. And I was friends with Alexandria, Ayana, and everyone else beforehand. So I was like, that is true. They've had like people who are part-time, but never someone caring for them full-time. And I was just thinking about the way Kristen has been able to pour into my life for 4 years. Like, she was there. She went to my performances even and would ask me, how was teaching the preschoolers today? And I would be like, they're a hot mess. Yeah, so I was just like, yeah, that kind of sucks that no one's really experienced that over there yet. And just like what it looks like to have like a biblical role model that's a woman, like being able to disciple them and lead them in that way, to point them towards Christ daily. I was like, yeah, that sucks.
Wow.
And then I was like, okay, who recommended me for this? Because I wanted to know who put my name in the hat for this.
Like, who was responsible?
Literally, I was like, who like let you know that I could possibly be interested in this? Paul listed out so many different people. He was like, Kristen, of course. And then he listed out Jomo and Alex. Apparently they were like, sign her up, bring her. And just like other people on the staff team who I talked with but didn't really know like they knew me like that, or didn't know like they knew what I was doing.
Knew of you like that.
Exactly, knew of me like that. He started mentioning things I did on campus, like people I was discipling, and I've never had a one-on-one conversation up to that point with Paul ever. I'm like, how does he know all this stuff about me?
He just said, I know about you.
I was like, what?
Like, what is going on?
So I was kind of shook. And then he's like, you know, the idea of these conversations is not to force you to do anything you don't want to do. He's like, I would definitely urge you to pray about it and really think about it. And yeah, I was like, okay. And then I reread Don't Waste Your Life by John Piper.
Oh my gosh.
And that sealed the deal. I remember going back to my autism class, and Sasha, like, she saved my seat, and she looked at me, she was like, what did he say? She already agreed to going on staff at that point. I was the last one in my staff class that they were waiting on to like agree. It was me, Sasha, and Matt, and then Alice and other people like were brought into it. But the three of us were like a part of that class. And I was like, man, Sasha, I gotta go on staff. I remember being so upset. I'm like, oh man, I have to do this. But when I prayed about it, I had peace. Like, my flesh did not want to. I was like, money. I want to work with people with special needs. Like, that's what I was trained for in college. That's where my heart is. And I was like, I have no business discipling people. I don't know a lot about the Bible, theology. I don't know. Like, there's all these, like, different, like, gaps. But it was the only thing I prayed about, and I had absolute peace.